Hello and a very warm welcome to Midday Prime. Over the next 1 hour, we'll bring you all the stories and updates from India and the world. We will update you about the happenings in the world of business and sports, and we'll get you some interesting stories that are making headlines. But first up, the big news at this hour. Karnataka's new Chief Minister BS Yediyurappa wins confidence motion in the Assembly by a voice vote, assures the House that his government will not indulge in vindictive politics. Speaker Ramesh Kumar tenders his resignation from his post. 3 disqualified MLAs move the Supreme Court against Speaker's decision to disqualify them. Prime Minister Narendra Modi releases All India Tiger Estimation 2018 report on International Tiger Day. India records 33% increase in tiger numbers in 4 years between 2014 and 2018. PM says with around 3,000 tigers, India is one of the largest and safest places for tigers. Samajwadi Party MP Azam apologises to Lok Sabha over his remarks against BJP MP Rama Devi in Parliament. Speaker Om Birla says members must refrain from using language that affects the dignity of the House. The Dam Safety Bill and National Medical Commission Bill moved in Lok Sabha for consideration and passing. Rajya Sabha takes up Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code Amendment Bill and Banning of Unregulated Deposit Schemes Bill 2019. President Ramnath Kovind reaches Benin on the first leg of his 3-nation African tour. President Kovind to hold talks with President of Benin today and address the National Assembly in Porto Novo. In sports, Olympic champion Dalila Muhammad sets a world record in the women's 400 meters hurdles, runs a blistering 52.2 seconds race in the United States National Championships. The developing story of the day, Karnataka Chief Minister BS Yediyurappa has won the trust vote that he moved this morning in Karnataka Assembly. The trust motion was passed by a voice vote earlier. While moving the trust motion, the Chief Minister promised he will not pursue vindictive politics and will set the state administration right. He reiterated that his government has decided to give 2 additional installments to farmers of the state, besides what they are eligible for under PM Kisan Yojana. He appealed to the opposition to work together with the government for the state and called for unanimous support for the trust motion. Congress Legislature Party leader Siddaramaiah and JDS leader HD Kumaraswamy opposed the confidence motion. Siddaramaiah claimed Yediyurappa does not have the mandate of the people and claimed there is no guarantee that he will remain Chief Minister for long. Soon after Yediyurappa won the trust motion, the Assembly took up for discussion the finance bill. The day also saw Karnataka Assembly Speaker Ramesh Kumar resigning from his post. And for more on this developing story, we are joined by correspondent Aisha Khanam from Bengaluru. Good afternoon, Aisha. BS Yediyurappa has won the trust motion. The finance bill was taken up immediately after that, and we saw that the Speaker, Ramesh Kumar, resigned from his post. By resignation, has the Speaker averted any no-confidence motion against him because he's resigned a day after taking a call on disqualification? Also, does his resignation now set into motion the process of election of the next Speaker?
Well, Munmun, it was a very smooth day today in the Assembly after several days of chaos that we saw here. And today when Yediyurappa's confidence motion was moved, it was a smooth sailing for Yediyurappa as well. And he passed the trust vote with 105 MLAs on his side. And today's strength of the House was 206, including the Speaker. And it was very clear that the opposite side had only 99. So therefore, there was no division of vote. It was just by voice vote that Speaker approved the confidence motion. motion, and Yediyurappa won this motion despite short discussion on this when Siddaramaiah opposed and HD Kumaraswamy also opposed the confidence motion, which is just a formality that they had to speak on the floor of the House. But Yediyurappa had a very smooth sailing today, and then the focus shifted to the finance bill, and this was also very smooth because it was very clear that the time is running out. Finance bill has to be cleared by July 31st, else the financial state and the economic state of the condition of the state would be in jeopardy. So therefore the finance bill was also cleared, and Yediyurappa took a vote on account for 3 months for the economic state of the state. So that means Yediyurappa will present another budget in after 3 months. So now the all eyes were on Speaker Ramesh Kumar, and Ramesh Kumar yesterday had given enough hints, he had dropped enough hints yesterday itself that he may not continue in the assembly after the trust vote. So he had come with his resignation letter today, and he resigned on the floor of the House, and he said that he is resigning after fulfilling his duties, and he also upheld his position and said that whatever he did, it was as per the constitution, it was as per the rules, and he did not go against any procedure or any rules in the assembly during the confidence motion of Kumaraswamy government as well. So many questions were raised on his integrity, and even during the confidence motion of coalition government last week, he was carrying a resignation letter in his pocket, and he said that he wanted to finish the discussion on time. So the speaker was forced to give proofs of his integrity during the confidence motion of Kumaraswamy government, and now that there was murmurs among the ruling side that there could be a no confidence motion against the speaker. So obviously he has avoided that embarrassment. He has he smoothly conducted the House for the floor test, and then when after Yediyurappa won the confidence motion, he had not much left to do. So therefore he resigned, and now the new speaker will be elected by the ruling party, and then the speaker will take vote in the next session of the assembly. That will be perhaps in October or November, when the assembly will be held in Belgaum. And today the BJP says that there are several senior leaders who fit in the role of the speaker, and KG Bopaya's name is running as a forefront for this election of the speaker. So KG Bopaya was earlier the speaker of Karnataka Assembly when BS Yediyurappa was the Chief Minister earlier. So it is very likely that Bopaya will be given this responsibility, although there are several other names also like Suresh Kumar and Kageri. But it's very likely that Bopaya will take this responsibility, and
Right.
The BJP will set the administration rolling now. So the next challenge before Yediyurappa is to form the cabinet and the expansion of the ministry, so which is a big task before him. He will be leaving for New Delhi tomorrow. He will meet the central leadership, and he will take approval from them as well in expansion of the cabinet. And we are hearing that over 7 ministers could take vote towards this weekend, and Yediyurappa will set the ball rolling for the new government, as he has promised that he will give a stable government in Karnataka, and he will give a clean administration in the state.
Right, you are saying that BS Yediyurappa did say that he will give a stable government. That reminds me of what Congress Legislature Party leader Siddaramaiah said during the debate on the trust motion today, that there is no guarantee that BS Yediyurappa will be Chief Minister for long. Is BS Yediyurappa treading on thin ice, or do you think that going forward this government will have the requisite numbers?
Well, Munmoon, it was very clear that the opposition is, definitely a wounded opposition right now, because their government fell apart due to lack of numbers just last week. So obviously it was Siddaramaiah who challenged Yediyurappa to give a stable government, a clean government, and he said that it is no guarantee that he will continue for 6 months, because Siddaramaiah was saying that the rebels might create trouble for the BJP as well, because these rebels were responsible for pulling down this government, and these were the Congress leaders, and Congress has been blaming BJP for the Operation Kamal. So now Yediyurappa says that the same picture could repeat with the BJP as well. So it's a challenge for Yediyurappa also to strengthen the numbers in the House, because politically speaking, this is a very wafer-thin majority for the for BS Yediyurappa, and and as Yediyurappa is an experienced man, he is an experienced leader, so he will work towards strengthening this number on the floor of the House, and it will all depend on how the rebels case will be taken up, because they are approaching Supreme Court, and if they get relief before the by-election, so these rebels could also win election and they can come back to the House. But the Speaker has said that they will not be able to contest election till 2023. But these rebels are of the opinion that the legal advisors will fight this case in Supreme Court and they will get some relief. So politically speaking, Yediyurappa will have to tread carefully on the floor of the House also. As I said, the opposition will not sit quiet, and they will not let Yediyurappa function smoothly, because the number is very thin,
right,
105, and majority number has to be 104. So it is a big challenge for Yediyurappa ahead to keep his flock together and also handle the administration and put Karnataka on the path of development.
Aisha, one sentence, if you could answer this question in one sentence, and that is JDS open to giving outside support to the BJP government, and is the BJP government open to accepting such a support?
Well, some leaders in JDS are of the opinion that they should continue to be part of this government, because it helps them. The JDS is a regional party, so if JDS is not seen as being part of the power, so therefore their existence will be difficult. So they have to rebuild the party also. So some of the legislatures have expressed the opinion. There is still mixed opinion coming from Kumar, Devegowda and his brother Revanna, and Revanna wants to be part of the government and also support the government giving outside support. So it is still not very clear. But looking at JDS history, the JDS has managed well with the power sharing, and also for BS Yediyurappa also knows how JDS had played 2020 game with them earlier, and Kumaraswamy refused to share power with Yediyurappa after he finished the 20-month power tenure. So BS Yediyurappa will also be careful. He will examine this proposal carefully. He will not make the mistake which he did earlier. So now BS Yediyurappa has a central leadership also to guide him, and therefore this will not be easy, even if JDS expresses that they will be part of the government and they will be giving outside support. But right now the focus will be on the by-elections, and if these rebel MLAs come back, it will be very interesting to see on which side they will sit. But very likely, since many rebel MLAs had openly said that they are keen to join BJP because they want to be part of the administration that the BJP is known for giving the people. And also the BJP yesterday openly stated that their disqualification was not as per the rules, not as per the norms. So the BJP has also hinted that they will help them legally in case they are interested in taking BJP's help.
Right, Aisha. Thank you for those updates from Bengaluru. Meanwhile, the three disqualified Karnataka MLAs today moved to the Supreme Court. Congress rebels Ramesh Jarkiholi, Mahesh Kumathalli and independent R. Shankar filed a petition challenging Speaker's decision to disqualify them for the remaining term of the present Assembly. On International Tiger Day, Prime Minister Narendra Modi released the results of the fourth cycle of the All India Tiger Estimation. The All India Tiger Estimation Report 2018 says India, with around 3,000 tigers, is one of the safest habitats for them in the world. 3/4 of the world's tigers can be found in India. Prime Minister lauded the collective efforts of all stakeholders that has resulted in this tremendous increase in tiger population.
सभी लोगों से यही कहूंगा कि जो कहानी एक था टाइगर के साथ शुरू होकर टाइगर जिंदा है तक पहुंची है, वो वहीं न रुके। केवल टाइगर जिंदा है इससे काम नहीं चलेगा।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi hailing India's Sankalp Se Siddhi mantra that has led to a 33% increase in tiger population in India since 2014. He released the All India Tiger Estimation Report 2018. The report states that 3/4 of the world's tigers can be found in India. Prime Minister lauded the collective efforts of all stakeholders that has resulted in this tremendous increase in tiger population.
9 long years ago, it was decided in St. Petersburg that the target of doubling the tiger population would be 2022. We in India completed this target 4 years early. This is one of the finest example of Sankalp Se Siddhi.
PM Modi expressed confidence that India will prosper both economically and environmentally. This balance is what will contribute to a strong and inclusive India. Over the last 5 years, forest cover across the country has increased as rapidly as has the expansion of next-generation infrastructure. Protected areas have increased since 2014 from 692 to more than 860 in 2019. The number of community reserves has gone up from 43 in 2014 to over 100 today. India has emerged as a leader in the sphere of climate action. The country has achieved several global emission reduction and clean fuel goals much before the set deadlines. India has already achieved the Sustainable Development Goal for cutting emission intensity of GDP goals by 20 to 25% and is a leader amongst nations striving to transition to clean fuel and renewable fuel-based economies. PM Modi called for a balanced, smart and sensitive approach to conservation.
हमें सह अस्तित्व को भी स्वीकारना होगा और सह यात्रा के महत्व को भी समझना होगा. We have to be both smart and sensitive and create a healthy balance of environmental sustainability and economic growth.
Forest and Environment Minister Prakash Javadekar attributed the success of Project Tiger to the nature being a part of our cultural heritage.
4 साल पहले मैंने जब आंकड़ा लिखा था बोर्ड पर 2226 तब लोगों को बहुत अच्छा लगा था कि भारत आगे बढ़ रहा है. कारण है कि हमारे जीवन शैली का हिस्सा है, हमारे सांस्कृतिक धरोहर की हिस्सा है कि हम प्राणियों को भी चराचर सृष्टि का हिस्सा मानते, उनको सगे सोयरे मानते हैं. तो इसमें एक बहुत महत्वपूर्ण भाव है हमारे जीवन का. सारी वनस्पति और सारे प्राणी सृष्टि भी हमारे जीवन का एक हिस्सा है.
PM also presented an award to Satyamangalam Tiger Reserve for showing the highest increment in the quadrennial management effective evaluation.
Population of tigers can be maintained in future also and for the decades to come and centuries to come. And tiger will remain as an elegant animal which is an indicator of healthy forest ecosystem.
India is emerging as not just the fastest growing economy but also a conservation hub, clearly illustrating that it is possible to strike a healthy balance between the two. Bureau Report, DD News. Showcasing to the world India's rich environmental heritage as well as India's first tryst with wildlife, conservation and as his own experiences to the global stage, PM Modi will feature in Discovery Channel's Man vs. Wild program. Here's a sneak peek.
An ace adventurer who redefines the rules of survival unites with the leader of the world's largest democracy.
Welcome to India.
Watch this dynamic duo
मैं आपके लिए इसको मेरे पास रखूंगा.
on an epic adventure of a lifetime.
You are the most important man in India. My job is to keep you alive.
Man vs. Wild. Watch Bear Grylls and Prime Minister Modi. Premieres 12th August, Monday night at 9.
Moving to news from Parliament now, Samajwadi Party MP Azam Khan today apologised to Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla for his unparliamentary remarks against BJP member Rama Devi during the ongoing discussion of the House. on 25th July.
माननीय अध्यक्ष जी, जो बात आपके समक्ष मेरे संबंध में आई है, मेरी कोई ऐसी भावना चेयर के प्रति न थी, न हो सकती है। मैं 2 बार संसदीय कार्य मंत्री रहा हूं, 4 बार मंत्री रहा हूं, 9 बार विधायक रहा हूं, राज्यसभा सदस्य रहा हूं। मेरे भाषण, मेरे आचरण को पूरा सदन जानता है। इसके बावजूद भी अगर चेयर को मेरे प्रति ऐसा लगता है कि मेरे से कोई भावना में गलती हुई है तो मैं उसकी क्षमा चाहता हूं।
Rama Devi, however, did not accept his apology. She said that Azam Khan's remarks hurt both women and men in India. She added that such comments are uncalled for.
अध्यक्ष जी, मैं ये कहना चाहती हूँ कि सदन में ये हमारे सदस्य आजम खान ने जो चीज बोले, जो कुर्सी पर मैं बैठी हुई थी, वो अध्यक्ष और सभापति की कुर्सी है, पूरा हिंदुस्तान देखती है और पूरा हिंदुस्तान की महिला पुरुष सब को तकलीफ पहुंचा है और इतना तकलीफ पहुंचा है कि इसका जो महत्व है इनको समझ में नहीं आएगा। काहे कि ये बाहर भी इसी तरह का ही बोलते रहे, इनकी आदत जो बिगड़ी हुई है वो जरूरत से ज्यादा बिगड़ी हुई है। लेकिन हम ये चाहते हैं आजम खान की जो आदत है ये सुधारनी चाहिए। मैं एक वरिष्ठ सांसद हूँ, मैं संघर्ष करके लोगों की आवाज बनकर आई हूँ। ऐसा नहीं कि आजम खान जो मन करे वो बोल दे चेयर से। इस तरह की बात सुनने के लिए मैं यहाँ पर नहीं आई हूँ।
Reacting to members seeking action against Azam Khan, Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla said that the House belongs to all and it runs on the support from everyone. He urged members to refrain from using foul language that hurts the dignity of the House.
कोई भी ऐसा शब्द जिससे हमारी संसद की मर्यादा मीडिया में अन्य माध्यम से छवि खराब हो, ऐसा हमें कभी भी कोई कृत्य करने का प्रयास नहीं करना चाहिए। हमारी कोशिश ये होनी चाहिए कि हम किस तरीके से हम सदन की इस सभापति पीठ की, अध्यक्षीय पीठ की प्रतिष्ठा को बना सकें। माननीय सदस्य ने जो क्षमा मांगी है, सभी दलों ने जो निर्णय किया उसके हिसाब से अब ऐसी कभी भविष्य में कोई माननीय सदस्य न करे, ऐसा हमें प्रयास करना चाहिए।
In Lok Sabha, Jal Shakti Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat introduced the Dam Safety Bill 2019. It seeks to provide a legal and institutional mechanism to ensure safe functioning of dams in the country and related issues.
देश के कुल मिलाकर के जितने बांध बने हुए हैं, 5000 से ज्यादा जिनका मैंने अभी चर्चा की है, उसमें से 92% डैम्स जो हैं वो इंटरस्टेट रिवर्स के ऊपर बने हुए हैं, जो एक से दूसरे प्रदेश को जो है वो अफेक्ट करते हैं। इसलिए मैं माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदय आपसे निवेदन करूंगा कि मुझे इस बिल को प्रस्तुत करने की अनुमति प्रदान की जाए।
Union Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan tabled the National Medical Commission Bill in the lower house. The bill seeks to repeal the Indian Medical Council Act 1956 and provide for reforms in the medical education system.
The National Medical Commission Bill that is going to be discussed in the Parliament today, when history will be written in future, this will go down in history as one of the biggest reforms in the field of medical education and which is going to serve the people of India in a big way of the Narendra Modi government.
In Rajya Sabha, the banning of unregulated deposit schemes bill is being discussed. MOS Finance Anurag Thakur introduced the bill.
Honorable Sir, on behalf of my senior colleague, Shrimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji, Honorable Finance Minister, I rise to move that the bill to provide for a comprehensive mechanism to ban the unregulated deposit schemes other than deposits taken in the ordinary course of business, and to protect the interest of depositors and for matters connected therewith or incidental thereto be taken into consideration.
Both Treasury and opposition benches have supported the bill.
This particular legislation, which is very comprehensive, which deals with all those schemes which are really not coming into the regulated as mentioned in the schedule. And therefore it is actually a very welcome scheme, and making sure that deposit mobilization is a necessity for economy. Nobody is against deposit mobilization. The question is how to make sure that deposit mobilization also happens. At the same time, nobody is taken for a ride.
Stop a ghotala, chit fund ghotala, like the Pearl chit fund ghotala. I'm glad with this bill, these ghotalas will not happen again.
The Rajya Sabha today paid tributes to former Union Minister and Congress leader S. Jayapal Reddy, who passed away yesterday. When the House met for the day, Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu read out an obituary reference for the departed leader. Naidu got emotional while remembering the former Union Minister. He said in the passing away of Jayapal Reddy, the country has lost a veteran parliamentarian, an outstanding orator and an able administrator. Jayapal Reddy had represented Andhra Pradesh in the upper house twice.
Is really remarkable, and he was here in both the houses, and also he was spokesperson of his party at that time, and it's really painful that he left us. I was there in Hyderabad, went to his house yesterday to pay my last respects. I'm sorry, I could not control my emotion because of 40 years of personal association.
And now correspondent Anuj Yadav is joining us from Parliament. Anuj, let's begin with Lok Sabha proceedings. With Azam Khan's apology in Lok Sabha, has the matter ended?
देखिए बिल्कुल मनमन, जिस तरीके से आज सपा के जो सांसद हैं आजम खान, उन्होंने माफ़ी मांगी है सबके सामने, पूरे सदन के सामने माफ़ी मांगी है। निश्चित तौर पर रमा देवी जिनके खिलाफ उन्होंने टिप्पणी की थी वो नाराज़ ज़रूर आई थी। उन्होंने कहा कि उनकी ये आदत हमेशा से रही है और महिलाओं का, देश की महिलाओं का भी अपमान हुआ है। तो निश्चित तौर पर एक गुस्सा रमा देवी सांसद के अंदर ज़रूर था, लेकिन क्योंकि जितने भी विपक्षी दल थे या जितने भी लोग थे वो अधिकृत किया गया था स्पीकर को कि अगर वो माफ़ी मांगते हैं तो इस मुद्दे को ख़त्म कर दिया जाएगा। तो आज स्पीकर ने सदन की कार्रवाई शुरू होने से पहले तलब किया था सपा सांसद आजम खान को, रमा देवी सांसद को, उनको भी वहां पर बुलाया गया था और एक ये अंडरस्टैंडिंग बनी थी कि आप अगर सदन के अंदर माफ़ी मांगते हैं तो इस मुद्दे को ख़त्म कर दिया जाएगा। और जब सदन की कार्रवाई आज लोकसभा में शुरू हुई तो आजम खान ने खड़े होकर सबके सामने माफ़ी मांगी और ये मुद्दा अब हम कह सकते हैं कि ख़त्म हो चुका है। और जिस तरीके से आप जानते हैं मनमोहन की जो बजट सत्र है इसको बढ़ाया गया है, 10 दिन के लिए बढ़ाया गया है। उसको बढ़ाने के बाद आज पहला दिन है और सरकार की यही मंशा है, लोकसभा अध्यक्ष की भी यही मंशा है कि ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा जितना विधायी कार्य हो सकता है उसको आने वाले अगले 10 दिन के अंदर पूरा कर लिया जाए। काफ़ी महत्वपूर्ण बिल हैं जो देश से जुड़े हुए हैं, समाज की जनता से जुड़े हुए हैं। उन विधायी कार्यों को पूरा करने के बाद जो है लोगों को उसका फ़ायदा मिले, जिसमें सबसे पहले अगर आज मैं बात करूं तो राज्यसभा के अंदर जो पूंजी स्कीम्स चलती हैं, जो फ्रॉड चलते हैं, पैसा दुगना करने का लालच दिया जाता है जिसमें सबसे ज़्यादा गरीब जनता फंसती है, वो बिल जो है वहां पर पेश किया गया है ताकि आने वाले समय में देश भर के अंदर अगर कोई लालच देता है फ्रॉड बैंक के माध्यम से या पैसा दुगना करने के माध्यम से उसमें कड़े प्रावधान हो, सजा देने के प्रावधान हो। दूसरा, हमारे देश के अंदर जो बांध हैं, कुछ काफ़ी पुराने बांध भी हैं, उनकी मरम्मत के लिए, उनके रिनोवेशन के लिए और किस तरीके से उनकी सुरक्षा को और भविष्य में बढ़ाया जा सकता है, तो उससे जुड़ा हुआ एक विधेयक जो है लोकसभा में यहाँ पर पेश किया गया है। दूसरा, हम कह सकते हैं कि जो इंडियन मेडिकल कमीशन है उसको बनाने के लिए आने वाले समय में मेडिकल की जो पढ़ाई है उसमें किस तरीके से बदलाव किए जा सकते हैं, वो बिल जो है उस पर अभी लोकसभा के अंदर चर्चा चल रही है। विधायी कार्य लगातार तेजी से चले मनमोहन। आज प्रश्नकाल को भी स्थगित कर दिया गया था क्योंकि सरकार की मंशा है कि ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा जो विधायक कार्य है, जो बिल हैं, उनको पास कराया जाए। और हम देख रहे हैं कि पहला ये बजट ऐसा सत्र है जब से लोकसभा अध्यक्ष ओम बिरला बने हैं कि वो देर रात तक 11 और 12 बजे तक सदन को चलाते हैं और पहली बार ऐसा देखने को मिला है कि संसद के अंदर किसी भी बड़े मुद्दे को लेकर व्यवधान विपक्ष की तरफ से क्यों ना ही खड़ा करने की कोशिश की गई हो, लेकिन हाउस को एडजर्न नहीं किया गया ज़्यादा समय के लिए। तो कुल मिलाकर हम कह सकते हैं कि आने वाले दिनों में महत्वपूर्ण जो बिल हैं वो भी संसद के अंदर पेश होंगे और पास होंगे। मनमोहन।
Did the opposition in the Lok Sabha, Anuj, raise objections to the introduction of the dam safety bill, and what happened after that? Was the bill finally introduced?
देखिए, विपक्ष के जो सांसद थे, खास तौर से कांग्रेस के या फिर तृणमूल कांग्रेस के, वो उसमें कुछ संशोधन उसमें चाहते थे, लेकिन जिस तरीके से सरकार की तरफ से जवाब दिया गया कि जो भी उनकी बात होगी, चर्चा के दौरान जो भी बात होगी, जब मंत्री इसका रिप्लाई देंगे, उसमें उन संशोधनों को शामिल करना है या नहीं करना, या किस तरीके से आगे बढ़ना है, चर्चा के बाद फैसला लिया जाता है जब मंत्री जो हैं इस पर जवाब देते हैं। कुल मिलाकर क्योंकि चर्चा जब इस पर जारी होगी या चर्चा के दौरान जो बिंदु सामने आएंगे, सरकार उस पर अपना क्या रुख रखती है, ये देखने वाली बात जरूर होगी, लेकिन फिलहाल जो है सदन की कार्रवाई ठीक तरीके से अभी चल रही है। मुनमुन,
In the Rajya Sabha, we saw, Anuj, there were a couple of adjournments over the Unnao case. Are the proceedings now running smoothly?
बिल्कुल, राज्यसभा की कार्रवाई भी कुछ समय के लिए स्थगित ज़रूर की गई थी, लेकिन उसके बाद से सुचारू रूप से चल रही है। उन्नाव केस के अंदर जिस तरीके से एक्सीडेंट हुआ है, जिस तरीके से वहाँ की पुलिस के ऊपर विपक्षी दलों ने जो है आरोप लगाए हैं और उसकी सीबीआई जांच की जो पहले से ही मांग की गई थी, इस तरह के सवाल विपक्षी दलों के द्वारा उठाए गए थे और संसद की तरफ से भरोसा दिया गया है कि उस मामले की जाँच पूरी तरीके से निष्पक्ष जाँच होगी। और अब राज्यसभा और लोकसभा दोनों ही सदनों के अंदर मुनमुन जो विधायी कार्य है वो ठीक प्रकार से चल रहा है। जो राज्यसभा की कार्रवाई है, निश्चित तौर पर वो लंच के लिए स्थगित कुछ समय के लिए ज़रूर हुई थी, लेकिन अब दोपहर के बाद एक बार फिर से सदन के दोनों सदनों में कार्रवाई चल रही है।
Right, Anuj. Thank you for those updates from Parliament. Late Jaypal Reddy's last rites are being held at Necklace Road in Hyderabad. The funeral procession began at 9 a.m. from his house. His remains were brought to Gandhi Bhavan, where the public paid respects. He is being accorded a state funeral. Jaypal Reddy, who represented the state of Andhra Pradesh in the upper house for 2 terms from April 1990 to April 1996 and from September 1997 to March 1998, was Union Minister holding different portfolios during 1997 to 1998 and 2004 to 2014. A car in which the survivor of Unnao rape case, her family and lawyer were travelling, was hit by an overspeeding truck in Raebareli yesterday, killing 2 members while leaving her and the advocate critically injured. BJP MLA Kuldeep Sengar, who is an accused in the rape case, was arrested on 13th April last year. UP DGP OP Singh assured that fair and free probe will be conducted. He added that primary probe suggests it was purely an accident due to an overspeeding truck. He also said that the driver and owner of the truck have been arrested.
राज्य सरकार ने ये निर्णय लिया है कि यदि पीड़िता की मां या उसके कोई भी रिश्तेदार अगर सीबीआई की इंक्वायरी की डिमांड करते हैं, उनकी मांग करते हैं, तो राज्य सरकार को इसमें कोई आपत्ति नहीं है और हम लोग इसको सहर्ष सीबीआई को हैंडओवर कर सकते हैं। यदि कोई निवेदन या कोई अनुरोध उनकी तरफ से आता है तो राज्य सरकार इसमें एकदम निष्पक्ष कार्रवाई चाहती है और यही कारण है कि हम उसके लिए तैयार हैं। अगर सीबीआई की डिमांड वो करते हैं तो हम सीबीआई को भी हैंडओवर कर सकते हैं ये केस।
The Supreme Court today agreed to hear on the 2nd of August a plea of fugitive economic offender Vijay Mallya challenging the confiscation of properties belonging to the companies owned by him and his family members. A bench headed by Chief Justice Ranjan Gogoi took note of the submission of Falias Nariman appearing for Mallya that the fresh plea be heard along with the pending one on the legality of the law and the action to confiscate the properties. The senior lawyer sought adjournment of the hearing on the petition questioning the confiscation of properties. Let's go across live to Benin now, where we are getting live visuals of President Ramnath Kovind. President Ramnath Kovind is on a tour to Africa. He reached Benin yesterday on the first leg of his 3-nation tour to the West African region. The 7-day visit is the first high-level tour of any head of state from India to the 3 West African countries, Benin, the Gambia and Guinea. President Kovind is on the first leg of his West Africa visit. India is, during the course of his visit, expected to extend a line of credit worth $100 million to Benin. The President is also later expected to address the National Assembly of Benin at Porto Novo. Benin is a small West African country with a population of 11 million, and India is its biggest trade partner. The President of India is also expected to sign an agreement later which will enable Beninese people to avail e-visas from India, because as of today they have to travel to Nigeria to get the Indian visas. Earlier, we saw how the President was welcomed in a colourful and ethnic ritual at the Cotonou airport, where he was received by the Foreign Minister of Benin. The President of Benin later will be hosting a banquet in honour of President Ramnath Kovind, and tomorrow is the day when the President will interact with a small Indian community. Guard of Honour being given to President Ramnath Kovind. He is the first Indian president to visit Benin. Let's move on now. Anandiben Patel today took oath as the governor of Uttar Pradesh. Outgoing UP Governor Ram Nayak attended the swearing-in ceremony of his successor. Let's go back live to Benin, where a guard of honour is being given, and there you are seeing the President meeting his Beninese counterpart. This visit is extremely important since this is the first visit by any Indian president to Benin. President Ramnath Kovind is on a tour to 3 West African countries. We'll bring you more updates from the visit of President Kovind to Benin as and when more developments take place. For now, let's move on. Phaggu Chauhan was sworn in as the 40th governor of Bihar. The 71-year-old Chauhan succeeded Lalji Tandon, who is now the governor of Madhya Pradesh. He was administered the oath by Patna High Court Chief Justice Amreshwar Pratap Sahi at a program held at Raj Bhavan in the presence of Chief Minister Nitish Kumar and Deputy Chief Minister Sushil Kumar Modi, besides several ministers. Chauhan, a 6-time MLA from Ghosi Assembly constituency in UP's Mhow district, had resigned from the UP Assembly on Friday. The 6th of 8 indigenously built landing craft utility Mk4 class ship LCU L56 has been commissioned into the Indian Navy by Vice Admiral Atul Kumar Jain, Commander-in-Chief of Eastern Naval Command at Visakhapatnam today. LCU L56 is an amphibious ship with its primary role being transportation, deployment and recovery of main battle tanks, armoured vehicles, troops and equipment from ship to shore and vice versa. Indigenously designed and built by Garden Reach Shipbuilders and Engineers Limited, Kolkata, the ship's commissioning portrays the growing capability of the Indian Navy in becoming self-reliant through indigenization. Speaking on the occasion, Vice Admiral Jain said the new ship will be stationed at the Strategic Port Blair Command.
Yeah, today we have commissioned Iron LCU 56, which is amphibious warship, and this ship is going to be based at Port Blair, that is our Andaman and Nicobar Command. And as I mentioned earlier, Andaman and Nicobar Command is geographically it is a very, very strategic location where it is located, and it overlooks the busiest sea lanes of communication and Malacca Strait.
And at Midday Prime, it's time for news and updates from the world of business. And my colleague Nancy Kohli now joins us with all the business updates. Nancy, it's over to you.
Thanks, Munmun. Let's take a look at all the business news. Well, around 11,000 Amrapali buyers can now get flats in 6 months' time, and that is after the order from the court. The NBCC had divided the Amrapali project in 3 categories. The maximum projects of category A are for Noida, and around 32,000 flats will be in category B. The NBCC, though, has also claimed that within the 3 years of the work beginning, the buyers of all the flats of both the categories will get the possession of these flats. And in some good news for Tesla's Indian fans, while the electric car may just be on Indian roads by 2020, Elon Musk has put a timeline for the electric car to enter the country. He's put a timeline for the entry of the company's electric car on Indian roads. In a recent interaction with IIT Madras students, the Tesla CEO said that the car may run on Indian roads in 2020. The Avishkar Hyperloop team from IIM Madras participated in the finals of the SpaceX Hyperloop Pod Competition 2019. Well, that was organized by the American company when Musk gave that statement of the company's electric cars coming on Indian roads by 2020. And an update now from the markets. While the stock markets gave up early gains to edge lower today amid choppy trade, the Sensex that opened 160 points higher at 38,043 gave up the early gains to fall as much as around 148 points to 37,734, and the broader NSE Nifty benchmark moved to 11,214. That's down around 70 points from the previous close. While the gains in information technology and select banking shares were offset by the losses in auto, metal and the pharma stocks. That's all the business news this afternoon. Munmun, it's back to you for the rest of the news.
Thank you, Nancy, for that roundup. Now let's take a look at what's making news across the globe. Ahead of unprecedented snap polls on 17 September, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's Likud party has put banners featuring his pictures with his Indian counterpart Narendra Modi, US President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin to lure support by presenting him in a quote-unquote different league. Netanyahu's campaign has focused on bringing out his close chemistry with the world leaders and trying to project him as a leader of unmatched stature in Israeli politics, which is crucial for the country's security. Netanyahu, who created history on 20th July by becoming the longest-serving Israeli Prime Minister, surpassing Israel's first Premier David Ben-Gurion, is facing a tough political challenge as opinion polls show flagging fortunes for his ruling Likud party. From an airport sit-in to violent clashes in a suburban area to aimless marches through busy shopping districts, protests in Hong Kong do not seem to die down. Tens of thousands of demonstrators have taken over streets near Sai Wan and Causeway Bay on Hong Kong Island. Hong Kong has seen 8 consecutive weekends of anti-government and pro-democracy protests against a proposed bill that would allow people to be extradited from the city to stand trial in courts in mainland China. It is ranked as one of the safest cities in the world, but recent protests have been followed by violent clashes between demonstrators, police and masked men wielding sticks suspected of being criminal gang members. Meanwhile, UAE has issued a travel warning for Hong Kong. It has advised visitors not to wear black or white. India has strongly condemned the terrorist attack in Kabul in which a number of innocent Afghans were killed. It expressed its deepest condolences with the families of the deceased. A statement issued by the Ministry of External Affairs in New Delhi said the dastardly attack was also aimed at undermining the constitutional and democratic processes and institutions in Afghanistan. The statement said India stands in solidarity with the government and the people of Afghanistan in their efforts to achieve enduring peace, security and stability in Afghanistan. A powerful explosion had hit central Kabul yesterday, wounding Afghan President Ashraf Ghani's running mate Amrullah Saleh and killing at least 2 others. Saleh, a former Afghan spy chief turned politician, is an uncompromising opponent of the Taliban and other hardline Islamist groups. He led the country's National Directorate of Security until 2010. In Syria, at least 13 civilians, including 5 children, were killed in Syrian government's airstrikes in Idlib province yesterday. The attacks came just a day after the UN human rights chief warned that those responsible for the latest wave of killings could be charged with war crimes. The Syrian government, backed by Russian forces, launched an offensive to capture Idlib in late April. Talks to try to save the Iran nuclear deal were held at an emergency meeting in Vienna amid rising tensions between Iran and the West. Iran said that meeting between Tehran and its partners yielded positive developments but had not resolved everything. Speaking afterwards, Iran's senior nuclear negotiator Abbas Araghchi said that Tehran would continue to reduce their obligations if the remaining parties to the deal do not help alleviate Iran's economic isolation. At the meeting, Iran, Germany, France, Britain, China, Russia and the European Union remained determined to save the deal. Parties to the deal met for emergency talks following an escalation in tensions between Iran and the West that included confrontations at sea and Tehran's breaches of the accord. The U.S. Director of National Intelligence Dan Coats has become the latest high-profile figure to leave the Trump administration. President Donald Trump tweeted Coats would step down in mid-August and that he would nominate the Texan Congressman John Ratcliffe to replace him. He said Ratcliffe would lead and inspire greatness for the country he loved. Coats and Trump have often been at odds over Russia and North Korea. In January, the president called his intelligence chiefs passive and naive in their assessment of the threat posed by Iran. Sudanese and South Sudanese officials have agreed with the leader of an alliance of armed factions operating along their joint border to extend the ceasefire and grant humanitarian access to some areas affected by conflict in Sudan. The two countries share a long and porous border and have a history of supporting armed groups on each other's territories after oil-rich South Sudan became independent in 2011. The two sides on 17th July signed the power-sharing accord, which provides for a transitional civilian administration following the ouster of long-time dictator Omar al-Bashir. And it's time for all the sports action now. And my colleague Anil Thomas joins us now with all the sports updates. Anil, more laurels for Mary Kom?
Well, she continues to shine in the ring. Moon, thank you. And let's begin with that story that we're talking about. 6-time world champion MC Mary Kom claimed the gold medal without breaking a sweat in the 23rd President's Cup, asserting a supremacy in a lopsided 51-kilogram bout final in Indonesia. The Olympic bronze medalist boxer decimated Australian April Franks 5-0. The 36-year-old Indian had also won a gold medal at the India Open boxing tournament in May, but skipped the Asian Championship as part of a larger plan to enhance her chances of Olympic qualification. India's gold rush continued with Sirmanjit Kaur being equally impressive in a final against Indonesia's Asian Games bronze medalist Hassana Pustubun. The Asian Boxing Championship silver medalist dominated her opponent 5-0. In the 54-kilogram category, Assam's young and bright talent Jamuna Bora did not put a foot wrong in a 5-0 demolition of Italy's veteran boxer Guanglugi Lamaga. to add to the gold she won at the India Open in May. In the 48 kilogram category, youngster Monica ended the challenge of Endang of Indonesia by a similar scoreline to round off what was a memorable campaign for the Indian women boxers. In the men's event, Neeraj Swami registered a 4-1 win over Mercado Junior Ramel of Philippines to clinch the gold medal in the men's 49 kilogram category. Anantapala Chopre also put up a brave performance and defeated Afghanistan's Ramesh 5-0 in the final of the men's 52 kilogram category to finish on top of the podium. Ankush Daya too absolutely outpunched his opponent Macau's Long Ping Fong 5-0 to lay his hands on the glittering gold in the 64 kilogram category. Moving ahead now to wrestling, Vignesh Phokat and Sakshi Malik were expectantly not troubled, but World Championship bronze medalist Pooja Danda was sensationally knocked out by Sarita Moore in the World Championship trials over the weekend. With only 3 wrestlers competing in the 53 kilogram category, Vignesh had to wrestle with just one rival as she emerged a 9-0 winner against Pinky in the final bout. The 57 kilogram category was the toughest category of the day, with Pooja, who was stretched in the semi-final by Anshu. Sarita, on the other hand, came out all guns blazing and despite suffering a knee injury after 52 seconds into the final bout, she emerged stronger. It is a battle of both physical and mental strength. Sarita, who had won a silver at the Asian Championship in 2018, stood out with her mental strength as well as a solid defense. She attacked a number of times, but holding of Pooja worked well for her. On to cricket, the ICC, that's the International Cricket Council, on Monday officially launched the inaugural edition of the World Test Championship, that's the WTC, which will get underway from August 1st, 2019. The World Test Championship will see the top 9 test teams in the world: Australia, Bangladesh, England, India, New Zealand, Pakistan, South Africa, Sri Lanka and the West Indies compete in 71 test matches across 27 series played over the next 2 years. The teams that will take the top 2 spots will contest in the ICC World Test Championship final in June 2021 at the Lord's Stadium in United Kingdom, and the winners will be crowned the ICC World Test Champions. On to burning some rubber on the Formula 1 track, Max Verstappen took full advantage of his rival's calamities on Sunday to win an epic, rain-lashed and wildly spectacular German Grand Prix for Red Bull ahead of Sebastian Vettel of Ferrari. The 21-year-old Dutchman secured his 2nd win of the season and the 7th of his career, finishing ahead of 4-time world champion Sebastian Vettel, who had started 20th and last on the grid. Daniel Kvyat of Toro Rosso was 3rd as he secured only his 3rd Formula 1 podium. Olympic champion Dalila Mohammed on Sunday set the world record in the 400-meter hurdles when she ran a blistering 52.20 seconds in the rain in United States National Championship. Mahmoud's time smashed the previous mark of 52.34 seconds set by Russian Yuvila Penchikon-Kika in 2003. She finished 2nd in 52.88 seconds, just 0.13 shy of her personal best, with Spencer 3rd in 53.11 seconds, equaling her best time record. Well, that's all we have in sports. Back to Moon for more updates.
Thank you, Anil, for that. And now it's time for our next segment, Live Prime, where we bring you stories from the world of art, culture, cinema, fashion, science and innovation. Stories that are bringing smiles, stories that are changing lives. Spectacular eruptions from Mount Etna lit up the sky, and rivers of smoking red lava streamed down the slope of the new southeast crater. Impressive activity from Europe's tallest volcano drew tourists and local residents to watch on the Mediterranean island of Sicily. Italy's Guardia di Finanza police officers monitored the eruptions as curious crowds took selfies. The 3,330-meter high volcano often erupts but rarely causes damage. It can burst into spectacular action several times a year, spewing lava and ash high over the Mediterranean island. The last major eruption was in 1992. China's Giant Panda National Park has helped boost the population of giant pandas. The 27,000 square kilometers National Park for giant pandas is a paradise for breeding giant panda cubs. It is the Dujiangyan base. It witnesses the birth of 10 to 20 giant panda cubs a year. And with that, we come to the close of this edition of Midday Prime. News and updates will continue on DD India and DD News.